Alright, good afternoon everyone. My name is sloaters27. I'm going to be bringing you some Super Metroid any percent all bosses. With that, let's get started. And here we go. So, like most Super Metroid categories, we are going to be starting on Ceres Station. Gonna be a few simple rooms through here, coming up to the baby Metroid. Then after Ridley will take it away, we will work our way back through these rooms with a lot more chaos. A lot of steam popping up, some tiles falling out of the ceiling. Big RNG fest. So to speed this room up, what you want to do is take damage as quickly as possible. Ridley's tail is the highest dealing damage thing here, so I'm just going to stand in the corner. You trolled me a little bit there, sort of flying in a weird way. But once we get below 30 health, that'll trigger this emergency sequence, and then we can get off the space station. So like I said, there's going to be some steam, going to be some things falling from the ceiling, a little bit of screen shaking in the final room. So far, not getting trolled too bad. And 45.63, not a bad time on the elevator. So I'll talk about the category for a little bit. Any percent all bosses is pretty much what it sounds like. It's going to be the normal any percent run, but with a dash of extra bosses in there that we normally don't see in any percent. Those bosses being Spore Spawn, Crocomire, and Golden Chorizo. The fights themselves are going to be pretty trivial, as I'll have the full beam combo, including the plasma beam, when I get there. But it does change the routing a little bit. And it ends up being sort of a hybrid route between what we call the old route and new route. The old route being sort of the intended boss sequence in the game, and the new route being the Phantoon first route where you get the early gravity suit. But anyways, we are on the planet Zebes now. We're going to go pick up our first items down in Blue Brinstar, being the Morph Ball and missiles. Morph Ball, a very important item, gets you through a lot of the morph tunnels, and that first missile pack's gonna allow us to go through all the red and pink doors. There's that Morph Ball. We'll immediately put it to good use by morphing under this platform, rolling under, and then we'll use it again in this room to get our first missile pack. And with picking up this missile pack, once we get back up the elevator, that'll put the planet into the awakened state, where there will now be enemies in most of the rooms that I've been through already, and all around the planet, so it'll be a little more tricky getting our way back up the way we came. In this room I need to kill all the enemies to get out. The doors are locked until you do so. Pretty easy. Most of the enemies in this area will just take one or two beam shot to take care of. So far so good. Some more enemies in here, will be mostly dodging them. Maybe shooting one here and there. And we're going to be coming up to our first mini-boss fight here, which is one we always do anyways, because it is the Bomb Chorizo who is holding our bomb upgrade, which will open up a lot of areas of the planet. So what I'm going to do for this fight, at the very start, I'm going to try to stand in a very specific spot, and what that's going to do is it's going to force Bomb Chorizo to immediately jump back once he's activated into the corner, and then I'll be able to use a combination of beam shots and missiles to get a quick kill on him. Perfect. So I got 5 power beam shots in there, and then I farmed his egg bomb attacks to get missile drops, and was able to finish off the fight with missiles. By using that exact amount of beam shots with the missiles, you actually skip sort of a animation with his face falling off, so you save some time. And with that bomb upgrade, like I said, the planet's going to be opened up quite a bit. We're now going to have access to the green Brinstar area, which is where I'm heading now. As I mentioned, this is kind of a hybrid route between the intended boss order and the fast any % route with Phantoon first. I am going to be fighting Phantoon, so I'm going to be doing some strats to conserve health, like that one there. Instead of running through those pirates and just tanking the damage, I'm actually going to use missiles to remain untouched. Phantoon is a very scary boss fight, especially if it's your first boss, as you won't have extra energy tanks or the Various suit, which cuts your damage taken in half. So even though it's usually a little slower to, do some of these health conservation strats, it'll make the fight a lot safer. And the first sequence break of the game, I just did a trick called the Mock Ball, where I go into Morph Ball as I'm hitting the ground with dash speed, and it maintains that dash speed in Morph Ball form, allowing me to get under those falling gates and access the Super Missile Pack earlier than I'm supposed to get it. This Super Missile Pack will allow me to bypass the Spore Spawn mini-boss fight, as that's supposed and that'll also save us on picking up a lot of ammo to defeat the bosses and the final boss. So as we come up to Red Tower, we're going to do our next sequence break. Normally you're supposed to go down and fight Kraid, but we're going to go up here using wall jumps into a well-placed shot to break a block up here and get access over to our first power bomb pack pretty early. So power bombs are going to allow us to go through yellow doors now, and also there are some blocks that are specifically only able to be broken with power bombs. We'll come across a few of those in the run. But like the regular morph bombs, these really open up the planet a lot. The wreck ship area, Meridian, Lower North Air are all locked by yellow doors, so power bombs will let us get through there. And now we're coming up to a very difficult room, the moat. I have 2 ways to get across this room. I either do a frame-perfect jump into a 2-frame wall jump, or I can try to do a diagonal bomb jump to get across this large body of water in the next room. Okay, so I got the frame-perfect jump. If I can get this 2-frame wall jump, I'll get across. Oh, and I missed it. Yeah, so unfortunately missing that is a pretty big time loss. You'll fall in the water here and slowly climb back up. So now I'm going to go for the bomb jump as a backup. There we go. The wall jump is a couple seconds faster, but it's definitely more risky as once you get that frame perfect jump, you either get it or you fall in the water. Whereas with the bomb jump, you could mess it up and catch yourself and land back on the pedestal to get another attempt without falling in. So now I'm coming up to the Phantoon fight. My main strategy for this fight is to use my missiles. If I run into Phantoon while I'm shooting my missiles, it'll actually stun lock him in place and keep him from disappearing, which he would normally do if you fire too many missiles into him. And if I do this well enough, I can actually finish the fight in 2 rounds by using a lot of missiles in the first and second round, and then finishing with a super missile, which also does a lot of damage to Phantoon. This is also a pretty big RNG source. There's 3 patterns he can do here, a slow, mid, or fast pattern. He's giving me a slow pattern right now, which is the one you don't want to see. And I might have to do a 3-round. I unfortunately missed a missile at the start of that round. Yeah, we're just going to go for a 3-round. So he gave me a fast there, that's good. And there's another fast. So even though it was a 3-round, that was faster than some 2 rounds if you get like a slow, or a slow mid. So not bad. It probably didn't look too dangerous. I did a good job of not tanking a lot of flame hits or Phantoon, but any hit in that fight does 40 damage, and with a max capacity of 200 health, that fight can go south really quick. And I'm going to pick up my second super missile pack conveniently, just right inside this room on my way up. That's actually the last super missile pack I'm going to pick up. Since it is any percent, we do not need to pick up all the items, so we're going to get the bare minimum, or close to it, bare minimum amount of ammo to beat the game. Oh, that's not good. The attic here is another room where I need to defeat all the enemies to proceed. So by laying that power bomb and shooting those, or that missile like I did, that should have killed all the enemies, which it did, and we can proceed. It's very important that my health is above 120. Ideally, I'd like it above 180, as I need to tank at least 120 damage to get through the bowling alley coming up here. And that's good. We'll be able to take 3 hits in this room. These spikes do 60 damage each. If you do things right, you should only hit them twice. Just like that. And we're through. That's probably the scariest part of the run, that whole wreck ship section. The Dragon fight can be a little scary. Lower Norfair and Torian can be a little scary if you're, playing fast and loose with your health, but generally speaking, we're kind of in the safer part of the run now. But anyways, by beating Phantoon, we are now rewarded with the Gravity Suit. Gravity Suit is a super powerful upgrade. It's gonna give us the max amount of damage reduction. It's also gonna give us heat protection, so any heated room we won't take any damage, which we would otherwise without one of the suits. And it's also going to allow us to travel freely through water without getting slowed down, which, as you saw when I fell in the moat, is pretty slow. Oops. So right now, I'm not really going to be heading directly to a boss. I'm going to be going to Norfair to pick up some items that are going to help me beat a lot of the bosses and beat them quickly. At this stage of the game, I'm kind of looking at my ammo and making sure I have what I need. 9 super missiles is plenty right now, and 2 power bombs is also plenty for the moment. I'm going to need either missiles and or super missiles to open up a lot of doors, and I'm going to need power bombs to also open doors and break some of those power bomb blocks. So fortunately Fantoon was pretty kind, and also some of the farms I did along the way gave me enough. And we're going to use 1 power bomb here to break open the Meridia tube. It's going to be a little faster to open it right now, even though I'm not going up there yet. Just because of the way the tube breaks, and also the way you'll be able to enter it later on when I do go into Meridia. You might have noticed I skipped past Kraid. We're also going to save Kraid for later. He'll be a little bit faster when I have some of the other movement items, and also the super refill you can get from there will be a lot more useful for the section I need later in the run. Oh, nice super drop. So here's the first item we're going to pick up in Norfair, the high jump boots. Not required to beat the game by any means, but they are a super helpful item. They make us jump a lot higher, they make a lot of rooms just way easier to navigate. They're pretty great. I'm going to try to farm a power bomb here. That's a pretty quick one to grab. Now coming up is a really cool strat I like in Bubble Mountain. There's a cack attack at the top of the room that can be really trolly and knock you down. I'm going to try to snipe them with a charge shot, like so. And we have 2 more items we're going to pick up here. We're going to grab the speed booster right now and the wave beam in just a second. Speed booster is going to make us run a lot faster. It's also going to give us easy access to Dragon, the Meridia boss. So we're definitely going to want that. Wave beam, very useful item. It's going to allow us to do X factors on some of the bosses, and also just increases the damage output of our beam. Also lets you shoot through walls, which is maybe a little less important, but still very helpful for a lot of strategies. And my ammo is in a really good spot right now. Normally I'd be okay leaving with like 7 or 8 supers. And we're at 10, so that's really good shape. The next section I'm going to be doing is Meridia, and I'm going to need quite a number of supers, both just to get through the doors there and to take care of one of our mini bosses, Botch Moon. Oops. There goes one of the supers. There's that wave beam. So we're sort of done with the item collection stage. There's going to be a couple other ones we'll grab along the way. But now we're kind of just heading straight to the bosses. I'm going to start finishing them off so we can head to Torian and finish up the game. So you'll see Speed Booster immediately paying off as it gives us access to this little shortcut. These blocks here are only breakable with the Speed Booster. You have it activated in your blue. Nice super. Again, a lot of good super drops off the enemies. So like I said, Meridia is going to be next. I already opened the entrance earlier with that power bomb, so I'm going to be able to just jump right up like that. It's a very quick room when the tube's already open. And we're going to head towards the mini-boss of Meridia, which is Batoon. So to fight Batoon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the fight. Oh, I should have got an extra power bomb, I just realized. I'm going to open up the fight with a X Factor. And what an X Factor is, if I hold a charge beam shot with one of the other beams, only one of the other beams equipped, in this case being Wave Beam, it does what's called a special beam attack, where beam particles will fly around the screen in a certain way depending on which beam you have. In this case, the X Factor shoots the beams kind of in a X pattern, hence the name. So all those particles hit, which is great. It's only 6 supers. All those hit. That's exactly the kind of fight we want to see. I'm also going to pick up my final E-Tank here. Very quick one to grab. It's inside this room, no need to go through any door transitions to grab this one. And it'll pay off immensely as well in the Dragon fight, where my energy is going to be a huge resource for damaging Dragon. Nice, got the full halfie. That's a difficult spark to pull off, having to carry a Shine Spark up through the wall jumps in that previous room. And then a somewhat precise position to not bonk anything. So Dragon's a really interesting boss because it's the only boss that is vulnerable to Shine Spark damage, and there's just enough room here for me to activate my Speed Booster and be able to do the Shine Sparks. I'm also going to open up with an X Factor and try to get some of those particles to hit. And I think a couple of them hit. Usually it's not a big deal if they all miss, or if only some of them hit. And just like that, Dragon is down with a few Shine Sparks. I was rewarded with a blue suit, and I'm trying to convert it to a spike suit, which I did not do. So when you beat Dragon with the Shine Spark, the game kicks you out of the Shine Spark, but it's sort of this weird glitch where it still thinks you have the blue suit, so Samus is still blue and has the echoes, and you're actually able to use a Shine Spark freely afterwards without, you know, actually like running around and charging up a Shine Spark. I tried to convert it into what's called a spike suit, which is just kind of a better version of a blue suit that lets you dash while you have it, but it didn't work out, so I'm just going to have to use my newly acquired space jump to get across this room rather than Shine Sparking. We're going to do a slight detour before we head to Kraid and Ridley. We're going to head over here and pick up our Plasma Beam. Plasma is the most powerful beam in the game, has the highest DPS. It's going to save us a lot of time on Ridley and Mother Brain. And also on the mini-bosses, it basically shreds all the rest of the mini-bosses that we haven't done yet in like seconds. There's actually another route. I mean, there's a lot of different routes in all bosses, but with the boss order I'm doing, you actually have the option to not get the plasma beam and instead get spacer and more supers and use those to deal with the mini bosses. But from what some of the the people doing the research on this category have found, is that it's faster to get the plasma beam. So like I said, I'm going to be going to Kraid next. With all this equipment I have, the movement items especially, it's going to make traversing through that area a lot smoother. It's also really convenient to go to Kraid right now because I'm going to want as many supers as possible going into Lower Norfair. I need to do what's called a green gate glitch, which is a super finicky trick to open up a gate from the wrong side, and it requires me to use a super missile every time I try it. So it's important I get as many attempts at it as possible so I don't lose a bunch of time. Oops. In Mini Kraid, the enemy I just ran through just now is more or less a guaranteed 4 super drops every time you kill him, so there's a very good chance I'll leave this area with max supers or close to max. And I didn't even talk about the Kraid quick kill, but if you shoot supers at Kraid at a specific point in his mouth opening animation, he'll actually be stun locked, and if you get enough ammo in, you can actually kill him before he even stands up and gets into his second phase, so good that we got that. We're also going to get the Various suit. Even though we have Gravity suit already, we still want to pick up the Various suit because Mother Brain's final Rainbow Beam attack actually checks to see if you have Various suit on to determine how much damage it does. It'll do 600 damage if you don't have Varia, and 300 if you do. So rather than picking up an extra 3 E-tanks, it's going to be faster to grab the Various suit instead. Oh, and actually, I forgot we were going to fight Crocomire before we get to Ridley, but you'll probably see why I kind of forgot about it. It's a very uneventful fight. Before we do that, we're going to pick up our final beam upgrade, the Ice Beam. Ice Beam's going to add a little bit more damage to our shots, but more importantly, it's going to give us the ability to freeze enemies. And we'll see that a bit through the next sections, but also in Torian it'll speed up the Metroid rooms considerably. Because it's either use Ice Beam and shoot the Metroids with missiles, or use 3 power bombs to kill one, which is really time consuming. But now we're coming up to Crocomire. Crocomire works different than most of the other bosses in this game. Rather than having health, Crocomire just gets pushed back every time you hit him with something. In the case of Plasma Beam, one of its properties is it can pierce enemies and hit them multiple times. And what that means is when you shoot an enemy like Croc, that beam is hitting Croc like dozens of times, and it's registering as dozens of hits, so he's stepping back dozens of times, and he'll just go straight into the lava pit there. And it'll be real easy kill for us. If you don't have Plasma Beam, Charge Shot, no matter what your beam combo is, will only make them go back 2 steps. And the ammo missiles and super missiles only make them go back 1 step and 3 steps respectively, so like I said, Plasma really trivializes the extra mini bosses we have to fight in this category. I think I just got 2 supers off of Croc. That's really insane, actually. He doesn't drop supers very often. But that's really nice for me. But, fortunately, the entrance to Lower Norfair is really right around the corner from Croc, so it's a very convenient time to go and fight him. Nice. That's a cool strat, using a power bomb to open up that door, but de-boosting off of that enemy before the power bomb actually hits it, so you can go through that whole lava pit in a very, very fast way. Traveling in lava is really strange, even with the gravity suit on. If you have speed booster equipped, it just like doesn't let you dash for some reason. So de-boosting across is actually like the fastest way through that room if you have space jump. And here's that green gate glitch I was talking about. Luckily I got it second try, and it also made doing this strat a lot easier. If you fail, if it takes you like 3 or more tries on that, usually the enemies in that room aren't in a great position for you to go for that speed booster strat and then to break the blocks in the next room with it, so luckily I was able to get it quick enough. And that's Golden Terizo, by the way. Bomb Terizo's older brother. Once again, because of the piercing properties of Plasma, I'm actually able to hit him 2 times with each shot if I do it right. And similar to BT, I'm able to trap him in a corner if I just stand in a certain position, so super easy boss fight. And I'm also, as you saw, I grabbed the screw attack. While definitely not required, screw attack, basically spin jumping into any enemy will kill them. There's very few enemies that are invulnerable to it. So it makes sections like this a breeze and not stressful at all. Most of the enemies in this area do like 50 damage even with the gravity suit on, so it can be very scary if you don't have some of these comfort items like screw attack or plasma beam. That was a really cool strat, by the way. By killing all the enemies in that room, it reduces the lag incredibly. Like, it's like night and day using power bombs in that room when there's enemies and when there's not enemies. So you might have saw it, I went out of my way a little bit to make sure I killed them all. Here's another cool strat, I'll see if I can pull it off. Killing both these guys with just 2 shots. Yep. If I was able to, if I didn't bonk there with my space jump, I could have carried that momentum through this room. That's another really cool strat. Lower Norfair is just full of awesome strats when you have this kind of equipment. And here's Ridley. With this beam combo, he's just going to be 20 charge shots, so the fight usually doesn't last very long. But he can be kind of a troll sometimes. And he should be dead now. Yep, he is dead. Ridley's also kind of a strange boss. Instead of dying like a normal boss, once his HP is depleted, he will attempt to grab you. If he doesn't grab you within 10 attempts, he'll just die on his own. But to end the fight quickly, you want to let him grab you. And with that, that's all of our G4 bosses. We do have one mini-boss left. Possibly everyone's favorite mini-boss. I don't know, between that one and Croc, it might be hard to say, but definitely a fan's favorite. And again, with Screw Attack and Plasma, this section is a lot more trivial than it probably should be, for being one of the last areas of the game. I'm coming up to one of the deadliest rooms in the normal any percent route, the Three Musketeers room, named after the 3 key hunters at the end of the room. Trying to dodge these guys in these small corridors can be a huge pain, but with Screw Attack and Plasma, you can see it's very simple. Just kill them. Alright, we are done with Norfair. Now, like I said, gotta go fight our last mini-boss, and then we are on our way to Torian. So rather than taking the traditional route, going through Meridia, taking the secret exit out into Red Brinstar, we're just gonna go back to Red Brinstar into Green Brinstar, and sort of route our mini-boss that way. And it'll actually, we'll be pretty close to Torian once we defeat him. But it routes pretty nicely. Aw, I almost squeezed through the door. So here we are, back in Pink Brinstar. And like I said earlier, while our first super pack is intended to be Spore Spawn, and even though we skipped him earlier and found a different super pack, we still gotta beat him in this category. Oops, I don't want to do that. I need to kill all the enemies to open the next door here, so I didn't want to leave that one behind. So with my beam combo, Spore Spawn is going to take just one charge shot to defeat. Another fun fact about Spore Spawn is the flag being set for his death actually is set right then and there as his animation is starting, so I don't even have to stick inside the room and watch him die. I can just immediately peace out in the way I came with the super missile. And all the bosses are now dead. Except Mother Brain, of course, but that's where we're heading now. Like I said, this is, you know, conveniently pretty close to the entrance to Torian. Just a few rooms and an elevator ride away. And fire super there. Alright, and now's a little break time. We can watch all the statues lose their light. Once they're all grayed out, they will sink into the water and open up the path into the final area of the game, Torian. Given my current health and ammo situation, shouldn't really be sketchy Metroid rooms, so long as I don't, you know, miss a bunch of supers or use like a lot of non-ammo conservative strats. I need a minimum of 20 missiles and 9 super missiles to get through Mother Brain 1 without having to go back and refill ammo or anything like that. So being at 20 and 7 already is really good. You also might have saw I just took off Screw Attack. While not necessary, it's gonna let me do some strats that I would prefer to do. The problem with having Screw Attack on is it will deflect Metroids if you spin jump into them. So if I had Screw Attack on, instead of latching on to me, they would have just bounced off, which is not what I wanted to do there. And at 20 and 8, I need one more super, so I'll use regular missiles on these guys. Also worth noting, I'm going to need a minimum of 301 energy by the time Mother Brain hits me with her Rainbow Beam attack. Normally, you know, only having 3 tanks, and especially with me tanking that side hopper hit, it could be a little scary, but with this beam combo, it's a 20-shot fight, so it's usually over pretty quick. And here's the baby skip, by the way. So this baby Metroid, now grown up into a giant baby Metroid, will try to latch on and drain your energy, but with some careful and calculated jumps, you can actually avoid it and get into the next room untouched. That'll also save me from having to go and refill my energy. And now here's the Zeb skip. Here's another reason I like to take off the Screw Attack. This thing I did, that I'm doing, and now just did, you can't do with Screw Attack on. There's a different strat you have to use, which I don't really like doing, so. But essentially what I did was I froze the Rinka that spawned immediately, and then by taking damage and jumping into it, the game prioritized me standing on the enemy rather than the floor and sort of pulled me into the Zebetite, which allowed me to jump through without having to actually destroy it. And the game actually doesn't spawn the rest of the Zebetites if you don't kill the first one. So it just lets me go through all of them. There's Mother Brain, by the way. That catch-up beam is the scariest attack. That does, at minimum, 100 damage, which, you know, if you do the math, is going to be a one-hit KO. That'll put me well under 301. She only does that attack when she's at 25% health, or when she's less than 25% health. So really, you'll only see 1 or 2 most of the time with this beam combo. But that's all the scary parts are over. It's kind of home free from here. Hopefully I didn't jinx myself and I don't die on Mother Brain 3. It's happened to people, but it's kind of difficult to do. But we're gonna get a cutscene here. The baby comes to save us, restores our energy, and its dying breath will give us our final upgrade, the Hyper Beam, which is a super powerful rainbow pillar of light that'll put an end to Mother Brain once and for all. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she'll come back in Metroid 5 or something. Here we go, Mother Brain 3. Super easy fight. If you can get into this rhythm here of jumping up and just keep piling on the Hyper Beam shots, she'll stay in her corner. And that's it. We are one escape sequence away from finishing this run out. Oh god. That room doesn't normally go like that. That's fine. Not too much to say about the escape. We're going to take a little shortcut here, break through some speed blocks with the Shine Spark. I'll take some iframes from that Pirate's French Fry to get up through this room easier. And we're now back into some familiar territory in the climb room that we were in at the start of the game. We'll just Shine Spark up, super easy. Do some more wall jumping. And once we are facing forward on the ship, that will be where time stops. And there we go. That is Super Metroid Any Percent All Bosses. Now we get to watch Planet Zebes explode in the self-destruct sequence. Samus getting away on her ship. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you see it, I did not save the animals, so they will not make it off the planet. But that's okay, because we saved time. And there it is. Roll credits. So while we have the credits here rolling out, I want to say thank you to Feasel and the rest of the SpeedGaming staff for letting me participate in the SNES Super Stars marathon. I've gotten to do a few of these now. It's always a pleasure getting to show off one of my favorite games. But that's pretty much it for me. Thank you everyone for coming. I hope you all enjoyed it. Hopefully it's something new. It's not a super popular category by any means. But there's a lot more of this marathon to come. A lot of great Super Nintendo runs. I believe following my run will actually be a run of a ROM hack of this game, Super Metroid Ascent by Linkemeister. So if you want more Super Metroid, definitely stick around for that. It should be a good run. But I'll let the credits roll out and let them start setting up for the next runner. So thank you again, everyone. Hope you all Have a good day, good evening, and enjoy the rest of the marathon.